I refilled the goldfinch feeders in my girlfriend Susie's yard in East Dallas on the east side of White Rock Lake a little bit ago, and the goldfinches are just coming back after I scared them off. There must be 100 of them feeding at these 4 feeders. They stage in the branches above, you can see, in these ash trees in Susie's yard, and I'm hiding behind the shrubs that are only maybe 6 feet to the feeders. They're a little skittish with me being this close and talking, but wanted y'all to see just what a feeding frenzy is taking place this year with winter finches. Goldfinches are hard to attract for some people, but this is my advice. Start out every year late October or early November. Afterwards is okay, but start with fresh Niger seed or thistle seed. Fill the feeders about 3/4 of the way full, and shake up the seed once a week until the finches arrive. Then you can fill the feeders all the way to the top, and the finches will keep it going down for you. They do get spooked by passersby and cars, but they quickly come back. You'll even see a whole bunch of goldfinches feeding on our feeders in the alley behind the store. It's important to start with fresh Niger seed. They're about 8,000 seeds per pound, and when that seed is brought into this country from India and Myanmar, it is sterilized because there's a weed seed in it called dodder, and so they cook this seed so that the seed that accompanies it in small quantities doesn't escape and become an agricultural pest in the United States. So they sterilize it, which means they cook it, so it automatically starts drying it out, and what goldfinches like is really oily seed. So you want to start every year with the oiliest seed possible, which is fresh Niger seed from a store that sells a lot of Niger seed, not one that has had it sitting on the shelf all summer long, not knowing that goldfinches aren't here in the summertime in the Dallas area. So start in late October, early November, or a little later if you want. Fill the feeders 3/4 of the way full. Shake them up once a week until the finches arrive. Then you can fill the feeders all the way. Now, when I'm refilling my feeders, I always shake up the seed in the tube before I top it off. Make sure it's nice and loose and there hadn't gotten no moisture has gotten into the tube. When we have a lot of rainfall, Niger feeders get wet just like all the other feeders do, and since the seed is so small, the finches have trouble pulling it. They can't get their little bills inside that hole very far to pull that seed. If it's gotten moist and stuck together, they'll pull the first few seeds out from in front of the hole, but then the others don't fall in their place. So it's up to you to shake up the seed every time you fill the feeder. Now, there's not a lot of maintenance to this. These goldfinches, as you can see, just feed happily along if you put out the right food in the right location. Generally speaking, we do not put finch feeders under live oaks and magnolias. We put them under, kind of out in the open a little bit, under big trees or at the edge of the canopy of big trees. If you notice, they like to sit up in these branches overhead and then come in to the feeders. I just spooked them because I'm only about 6 feet away, but that is their favorite way to feed, is where they have plenty of branches around, but they also have plenty of visibility in case a predator like a Cooper's hawk comes around. So anyway, you'll notice I have a squirrel baffle on this setup. Squirrels do not typically like Niger seed. I just don't want them on the feeders at all. I don't want them messing with the finches and the finch feeding station. So I have a baffle on this pole to keep any unwanted visitors out, especially squirrels. So anyway, that's goldfinches in Susie's yard. By the way, they will be here till about Mother's Day, and they'll disappear shortly for a short period of time in March while they consume the buds off of mostly elm trees, I think. They use those carotenoids in those newly emerging buds to turn yellow, and they will put on a splendid yellow show for you in March, April, and early May. They look like wild canaries feeding in your yard. They are just as active in April as you see them here today. We'll have a lot of goldfinches here in their bright colors, and if you're lucky, you might even get a painted bunting or an indigo bunting at your finch feeder here in Dallas. So just remember, fill the feeder 3/4 of the way when you start out. Shake it up once a week until the finches arrive. Then fill the feeder all the way. Be sure to use fresh Niger. Leave your feeders in place all the way till the middle of May. And importantly, if you want to see something super important, look over there. You see that little fountain? Those goldfinches don't have to leave this yard for water, and I recommend you have a water source for your goldfinches. Happy bird feeding. The weather's going to be really cold this weekend, and you'll probably see twice as many goldfinches on this feeding station as you've been seeing while I've been here with you this morning. This is Dallas Birdman at Wild Birds Unlimited, signing out.